Ladies and gentlemen, there are many people extremely worried about their situation now that the $300 weekly benefit has expired for many people, millions of people in this country. So now they are once again back to worrying about how they're going to survive. Congress don't seem to even be talking about passing a package anymore. They were for the last few weeks, but if you notice, last week and this week, they've said very little to nothing. You don't hear nothing from the Senate or Congress on when they're going to push a next package to the public. So, in the meantime, businesses are also worried because it's going to take toll on them if people don't have the money to spend. And without that additional benefit, that means less money circulating in an economy that's already in a recession. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this audio for you.
And we're really close.
And we skip past the commercial. I think it's a shame that so many in politics are playing around with folks' lives, and they are totally unconcerned about that too. All right.
Benji, talk to us about what the real life experiences are for people, because just this week, the president's national economic advisor, Larry Kudlow, says, listen, the recovery's not easy, but it's going so well, we might not need more federal stimulus to keep the recovery going. Is that how people feel?
That isn't. And part of the reason is the nature of the jobs that people were working before they became unemployed or furloughed during this pandemic. A lot of the people we spoke to worked in restaurants, bars, hotels, sports arenas, places that are some of the hardest to reopen during the pandemic and that have seen the most revenue loss. So the idea that just because jobs are coming back, they're coming back in those areas is completely not true. Everyone we spoke to said they were urgently searching for new work and just not being able to find it because the entire industry is depressed in those cases, and that's where their experience is, and that's where the jobs are right now. Leisure and hospitality jobs are still down 25% from their pre-pandemic peak. Now, what does this mean? They're trying to navigate this complicated unemployment system where some of them are just starting to get a $300 temporary benefit that the president put into place, but it's been difficult. It showed up only after a few weeks. In many cases, they've already received their final payment, and that leaves them on the hook for rent, for utilities, for other expenses, and a completely uncertain future. Everyone in Congress, the White House, the consensus seems to be that there needs to be some extension of unemployment benefits. But Stephanie, there's been no will to actually get this done at all. And now the entire system of benefits seems to be expiring.
Can you talk about how the daisy chain effect impacts the whole economy? Because when those $300 unemployment boosts run out, people have to pay their bills. They use that additional money to pay their rent, to pay their bills. It goes back into the economy. If suddenly they don't have that money, the small amount of business those small businesses are even getting, that evaporates too.
Right. We're already seeing analysts start to incorporate the idea that Congress is not going to pass anything into their estimates of future growth and lowering those estimates. That's because, for one, when people have less money, they're less likely to spend. But the same relief talks that are being held up that are stopping them from getting their unemployment benefits are also preventing new aid for the businesses that they work for or that have furloughed them. So you have the potential of, say, those restaurants or bars that are closed right now or at operating at severely reduced capacity. You could see them closing en masse, in which case those temporary furloughs become permanent layoffs, and this could become a much longer period of unemployment for the country as a whole, not just for them individually. It's a lot easier to hire people back to businesses that have survived the pandemic, Stephanie, than it is to start a new business and go through the whole process of hiring people again.
Benji, I think there's a really important quote in the piece, and you can read our piece on NBCnews.com, that really speaks to all that's happening here. It's from Michelle Evermore. She's from the National Employment Law Project, where she says, I feel like the attitude toward unemployment insurance is like the attitude toward the virus itself at this point. There are so many people tired of things being bad that they're just pretending they're not bad anymore. I mean, Benji, we had another 870,000 people file for unemployment in the last week. We know winter could certainly shutter more businesses. These restaurants can't be open outside forever. This thing isn't going away. How do we allow our people in charge to kind of start ignoring it?
What's really frightening to a lot of the people who are on the receiving end of these benefits that have expired, and to advocates who are working on these issues, is that they're worried that people are starting to figure out that the rich are coming back just fine from this. The stock market's already recovered. That in general, many white collar jobs have largely come back. We've learned how to transition to remote work, just like you and I are doing right now. The situation has stabilized in many ways. But for more lower income jobs, not entirely lower income, but jobs that tend to be lower income, in, as we mentioned, bars, restaurants, hotel workers, the situation is a lot more dire, and they're worried that'll make it easier for Congress and the White House to ignore, because they don't feel that same urgency with lower income Americans. It's a very upsetting and scary situation for these people, and it's one that echoes what happened during the recession the last time in 2009.
Okay, you heard that, right? So, yeah, a lot of people are once again worried. And to be honest with you, I have to agree. I don't think they're concerned about this. I don't think they're concerned about it at all. They're talking about everything but getting, any type of help or benefits to the people. So if this issue was not raised, you can see they'll just pretend it's not like, it's there anymore and just ignore it. And I think that's the worst thing that can happen. Look, they already said in order for this country to go back to pre-coronavirus levels where people were all out here working and and taking care of themselves and their families, it could take up to 12 years to get everybody back working. And the problem is there's not a lot of jobs for people to even apply for out here. And the ones that are people are applying, there are thousands and thousands of people applying for those same jobs. So it is not going to be easy for folks at all when it comes down to searching for work. And this is what the Mitch McConnells and people that are complaining about the $600 don't get. People can't refuse to work because there's not enough jobs out here for them to even apply for. What was wrong with these people, for real? But y'all, please tell me what you think. My heart goes out to all of the people that are losing the $300 benefits, because now you're back to square one and struggling. Many were struggling even with the $300. Some were even struggling with the $600 because, I mean, let's face it, people got some pretty hefty mortgages and rent. Everybody's not living in like a low income rental. They were paying $2,000-3,000 a month to rent a place. And depending on what kind of job and income you were able to handle a rent like that. But everybody is not just paying some low amount of rent. America is a very inflated place. It's hard to live in a place like this and you don't have a lot of money. It's very difficult. They've made it difficult by going overboard, inflating things. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.